If you think in terms of why we exist on this earth, you will hear from both scientists and religious followers that we are here because we have a quest for unity. Whether you are scientists, you have that. Whether you are religious, you have that. That is to say, every scientist that I know of, they say the purpose of science is to identify underlying unified principles. This is why you can see some people, such as Newton, he actually, in a correct terminology, he was a very spiritual person. He may not be religious the way that you and I call religion as bowing down, doing idol worship, but rather he was religious in a term that he was trying to find those principles that reunites the universe. And in fact, to be religious means to reunite. When they asked Baha'u'llah, the prophet, founder of the Bahá'í faith, what is the underlying principles that religion promotes? He, in numerous tablets, says unity. But unity doesn't mean superficial unity. Unity is identified with the core realities that exist independent of one's subjectivity. Because what you and I may call truth can be an illusion. In fact, Shoghi Effendi, the leader of the Baha'i faith after Abdul Baha, who was the successor of Baha'u'llah, he in his letters known as a Word of Baha'u'llah, he says everything that religion stands for circles around the concept of unity. It is very interesting to note that, because religion believes that the quest is for unity. Science believes that the quest is for unity. In fact, there is a book out there that I recommend highly you consider reading. It is called Global Brain by Peter Russell. If you have any religious inclination or scientific inclination, you will see how this book, which is one of thousands of books available out there, shows that underlying problems of humankind in 21st century is that they have confused the meaning of unity. But at the same time, everyone's quest is for unity. Baha'u'llah, Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, perhaps Krishna is the first one who actually opened that chapter. Krishna has a book called Gita. This is what is attributed to him. The first 6 chapters of Gita is about quest for unity. But he does it in a remarkable way. You, as an individual, he says, you can never feel unified unless you consider yourself to be the innermost symbolic reality of a divine unity. This is a very powerful statement. This is why I believe, humbly, that whatever was written after him was simply an explanation of what those statement means. I highly recommend read that book, Gita, especially the first 6 chapters. Gita starts with the fact that who am I? It's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna supposed to be the first believer who has the dialogue. Gita is written in the same manner in which Socrates' dialogue is written, if you are familiar with Plato. So Arjuna is being told by Krishna that you are in this world in order to become a warrior. You have to fight. You have to engage into the war. And Arjuna, being a simple, ordinary person, he says, oh, what do you mean? You want me to go and kill? You want me to go and fight with my families? He says, nay. You need to fight with your derived self, imaginary self, pretended self, in order for you to manifest your innermost self, which is divine. This is very powerful. That is to say, Krishna believed the reality of me is not that I am a male. My reality is not my body, but my reality is something which is eternal. That concept is very fascinating, how it plays out its significance 5,000 years later. To the point that Einstein says that we are alive only because we quest unity. This is why Einstein said that spirituality means to come to the realization that you are here in order to become unified. But the people easily can become unified with others based on context. We are from the same country is a context, so we are unified. We are black, so the color unifies us. We are classmates. We have a religion. Krishna, Einstein, Peter Russell, Baha'u'llah. But how can that have anything to do with anything? Your religion doesn't unify you. Your religion may be the cause that you can use it in order to create unity. But religion doesn't unify anybody. When religion is used to create internal transformation, then religion has proven to be a good vehicle. But if the religion be used in order for me, Christian, to feel I'm the chosen one better than you who is Jewish, you who is a Muslim, you who is a communist, religion failed to do anything. Do you see where am I going? Krishna established a principle. External cannot unify you. Unity has to be established internally. How? Who am I? Am I my body? Am I my emotion? / feelings? Am I my thoughts? / spirit? The answer to that question determines the course, the journey of life toward the quest for unity. Whether you're Bahá'í, whether you're American, whether you're 50, whether you're 10, at some point in your life, you have to answer that question. Failure to answer that question will create despair, will create attachment to materialism, or capitalism, or communism. This is very interesting, how that question can actually have consequences in your political theology, religious theology, or the philosophy of life. How? Well, if the answer to that question is that my reality is my body, well, materialism is an offshoot of that. Then the more I have that type of thinking, the more I will feel secure. This is why contentment is at the door. If I have one car, why not 2 cars? Why not 3 cars? If you have Mercedes-Benz, that's good. Why C-class? Why not E-class? Why not S-class? And how beautifully it has been said. The people who consider body to be the reality, then they actually consider themselves like a well that the more you pour in materials in it, the more you feel the empty depth of it. This is why, if the reality, and this is why Krishna, you never get satisfied by a bigger house. Try it. Why? many, many, many people suffer from depression. I, as a therapist, can tell you. There has not been one article, one research to prove that the more material means you have, it will help you to decrease your depressive mode. In fact, it has been shown, if you identify yourself solely as a physical being, that itself is a recipe for depression. Why? Very obvious why. Because you never get satisfied. Does it make sense? Try it. Look at your life. If you're 50, if you are 40, if you're 10, if you have one toy, you want 2 toys. Have you ever seen your kid only be happy with the toy? You may give him to busy him for a while. But the toy, your toy could be your computer. Your toy could be your degree. Your toy could be your religious activities. You can busy yourself from this meeting to that meeting, to that meeting, to that meeting. What are you doing? I'm going to fireside, okay? Then what are you doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I have a feast. Whatever you're doing tomorrow is a woman's gathering. If you cannot find the innermost essence of the feast, it just has busied you. So, let me conceptualize it. See if you can relate to it. The root of materialism, the root of capitalism, the root of communism, according to many, many profound psychologists, such as Carl Jung, has to do with the poor understanding of the reality of man. This is very interesting. How you view yourself, in fact, determines your course of theological, political course of action. Makes sense? So the more you have, the happier you are. Capitalism. One is consumer, one is provider. So I play all the gimmick that you buy, you do all the gimmick that you get more, pay less. Greed is the center of such a transaction, isn't it? Who is the most smart? Who can make money with the least efforts, right? It will be such a good thing. You get up at 6:30, California time, go on the internet, enter the symbol, enter the code, and you say buy. That is called a stock market, right? What do you like to do? To buy. Lower, sell, higher. And who do you consider the well-being of? Not the person who buys, not the person who sells. Who do you consider? Me. I. Mine. Isn't that right? Think. why they say, Abdul Baha boss, you never can solve any social problem, Abdul Baha. You can never solve any economical problem, but through spiritual solutions. What is a spiritual solution? How can I even have any spiritual solution if I think my reality is physical? Do you see where am I going? Or half sleepy? Makes sense. This is why. The task of to solve social problems, personal problems, is to first ask, what is my reality? If your reality is body will lead to division, you and I can be united only superficially. As long as you feed my ego, I feed your ego. As long as I give you what you need, you give me what I need. Marriage means a contract based on you satisfy me, I satisfy you. If we do not have satisfaction, then what do? Oh, we are not compatible anymore. Why? Because, our needs has changed. You are not the same old man that I thought you were. Oh, really? What was it? I grew, you stayed there. So I have to go and find somebody else that we can grow. Very good. Do you see materialism? How does it work? Marriage has become self-centeredness. Why do you get married? Why? Because I'm alone. If I'm alone, I get depressed. At least I have someone, right? So I give you another sign of materialism. Why do we need to get married, for God's sake? We can have a companion relationship. Legally is better. Financially is better. But even if doing that, do not stay with me if you are in California, you are my girlfriend. Please do not stay under the same roof 5 years continuously with me, because then my property becomes your property. So what do? For a while we separate and then we go back, we come back. Do you see, they're talking about marriage. So unity, unless it's based on spirituality, is a shadow and shadow. So what is a spirituality? A spirituality means you pray every day, right? And then you backbite between the prayers. And you do fault finding. What is a spirituality? That is $1 million question that from Socrates all the way to Baha'u'llah, humankind has been after. Why? Because was a spirituality having a beard, white beard, and a garment, and when you walk, they know you are a spiritual guy, right? But that is materialism again, though. You didn't get it. You defined a spirituality with the garment. Look at it. Your face looks so spiritual. Just pay attention. Your face is so spiritual. So how did you define a spirituality? do you know, the more, if you see, for instance, have you been in Vatican? Have you seen Christmas? All these people who can have a very nice, simple clothing, they have to have a long robe, white robe. Why? Because white is a symbol of holiness, my friend. Black is a symbol of non-holiness, right? Isn't that materialism? This is why $1 million question was, what is spirituality, for God's sake? Socrates. Do you know Socrates? Do you like him? He was a good guy. If somebody doesn't know about him, he has missed a great deal. A great deal, yeah. Of course, whatever we have of Socrates is by Plato. Plato has two works that I am intending to refer to in relation to our discussion. One is the epistle called Apology. Another one, Phaedo. Phaedo is a name of a person. In these two works of Plato, Socrates actually is asked about the reality of man. And Socrates says, reality of man cannot be the body. It has to be the soul. And he says, what is a spirit? He says a spirit is that which unifies you with every element of the universe. Wow. Did you get it? Spirituality means I look at the whole world as one reality. Animal, mineral, vegetable, and human. It's the same reality. Oh my God! Einstein picks it up. He said, do you know what is the advantage of it? Advantage of it is, then you do not abuse the nature. You do not abuse the animals. You do not abuse the material means that you have. The spirituality means, according to the new definitions of science, is for the person who is holy. And the word holy means the person who can see the whole. Holy doesn't mean a good turban, white turban, bowing down. Holy, the root, holes, means healthy, whole, W-H-O-L-E. The more healthy, which means the more you can see the whole, the more you are holy. This is powerful. The less you see the whole universe as one system and everything as a subsystem, to that degree of the failure, you're less holy. Wow. Can you imagine the consequences of such a paradigm shift? Do you know what is paradigm? What is paradigm? A theoretical orientation that you see the world. It's called paradigm. What is paradigm shift? You know, sometimes we use it. We want to do a paradigm shift. What does that mean? You know, when you go to college, then you learn new words. You want to use it, that the people get impressed, and then you can suppress them, right? Paradigm means how you see the world in terms of codification, categorization, and interpretation. Make sense? No. How you actually arrange things, how do you organize them, how do you interpret them? The dog looks at the world, has one paradigm. The cat has another paradigm. You and I look at the same object, we have another paradigm. We, dog, cat, human, donkey, monkey, they all are sitting here, happy family. They look at that picture. Do you think the dog sees the same picture that you do? Hey, doggy, what a nice picture. You think you are talking to your cousin. Think. Bertrand Russell says some people rather to die than to think. Because when they think, they may have to change their paradigm. Paradigm, therefore, means the way that we look at the world, we interpret the world, we relate to the world. Up until 20th century, the paradigm that the humankind were using, that everything is physical. That paradigm has created more wars than peace. And all the peace have been superficial. Why? Because the reality of man is physical. So it is me versus you. My nation versus your nation. My religion versus your religion. My family versus your family. It is me. Even us is based on me combined. They don't say it as us. Us means we group which is distinguished from other group. That is what us is. We are so unified. Just go on Sunday morning to central Los Angeles. Walk on the street. See how many people come from different churches. Do you think the churches have unified us? Or they have actually maintained our grouping? I am a Bahá'í. We are Baha'is. Oh, very good. Very good people. Hey, we are not Muslim though. Oh, really? We are not Christian though. Is this called unity, or it is called pseudo-unity? Is it an illusion of unity, or it is unity? Are we really accepting religion as an end or as a means? See, all of these things comes to play when you do a paradigm. So what does paradigm shift mean, man? When you see so many uncertainties and inconsistencies in your current paradigm that you cannot interpret the world satisfactorily. This is why you say, I am researching after a new truth. I am researching after a new wife, new husband, new house. when you look at the paradigm that you use, is that what I have is not satisfactory. This is called paradigm shift. 21st century is a century that every paradigm is under the test and examination. In fact, from 18th century on, every idea on the planet came to be attacked. Why? Do you actually think Galileo destroyed the church? Or the paradigm that the church was using to explain the world actually created flaw? See, up until Galileo, everybody was super happy. Sleepy but happy. That, yes, the earth is the center. Isn't that right? Everybody was so happy. You wrote in order to define it. Sure, we are the center of the world. All the people of the other planet are yearning, yelling to come to the earth. Because this is where Mr. God started the process. Everybody was happy, right? Until suddenly Copernicus showed up. Kepler showed up. Galileo showed up. So these are individual people. They came and said, you know what? It appears your paradigm has a lot of inconsistencies. Therefore, it was a paradigm shift. Nowadays, if you go outside and say, Earth is the center, the people would not say should be called psychologists, but they start wondering, right? Right? Why? Because what Galileo and Copernicus and Kepler said it against a church, which was a mass movement, now has become mass mind. So the truth always has been there, independent of Galileo. But neither the people before Galileo saw it, nor the church saw it. Wow. So what is a spirituality then? Spirituality means to create a paradigm which has the least inconsistencies that you can relatively codify, interpret the world without any need for duality. I know I summarize it. I know it became very philosophical discussion. But by God, what I shared with you is a core to every one of us who sit in this room. I can tell you, number one problem of any psychological disorder that I have related to is because the people are not united with their own selves. Their soul says one thing, their mind says something else, their feelings says something else. They act yet differently. Their religious system says something. What they understand of it says something else. What they feel of it says something else. And then in their behavior, they are chaos. And we have realized, not until Habib unifies his soul with his mind, with his feelings, with his behaviors, he never can feel unity. And if I cannot feel unity within me, whatever hand I extend to you might create dependency, but would never guarantee interdependency. From psychological standpoint of view, we are created to be interdependent, but we have never been created to be dependent. You are not dependent on me. Husband is not dependent on the wife. Wife is not dependent on the husband. We both are unique individuals who have our own unique personalities, but our goals, our ideas are unified, and we help each other while we are both strong, help each other to advance towards greater strengths. Abuse takes place. See, I'm trying to just show you how these things are so vital. When I am not united, my anxiety goes high. My fear goes high. Fear and anxiety will help me to be dependent. This is why Freud, if you remove your inner anxiety, you actually eliminate majority of your external fears. Have you ever seen when you are alone, you are fearful? Really, which one creates fear and anxiety? To be alone or to be lonely? See, therapist, this is you can be alone. It can be the most constructive time of your life. You can think, you can relate, you can write, you can develop. Some people say, just leave me alone. I just give me internet, my laptop, and a Starbucks. And he says, I conquer the world. Somebody else has the whole people. We have a big family, do you know? We are so united. I have 5 kids, 10 brothers. Hopefully they do not say 6 husbands, 4 wives. But why then you are so lonely? Is loneliness is something to be concerned or to be alone? Think. See, I'm here only to a little bit confuse you. But most importantly, when you go home, start thinking. And then ask yourself, what is the relevance of Baha'u'llah in my life? What is the relevance of Jesus in my life? What is the relevance of Moses? Have they come simply to do a grouping? We pray together forever. Okay, then what? Then what do you do? Then we go home, and then we come back tomorrow, we pray. Oh, really? And I quote Jesus in Corinthians, the kingdom of God is within thee. The kingdom of God is within thee. Don't go upstairs. There is nothing up there. Have you been in an airplane? When you go up there, you see nothing is there. Then you look up, you cannot open the window. You see, there's nothing there. Baha'u'llah, he says, do you know what? He repeats what Krishna and Socrates. Don't ever feel you can find God anywhere if you have not found it within. The way to get to God is not outside. is inside. Some people read prayer, ask, God help me. They think that is a 411. This is why sometimes you pray, the answer comes and passes by you, but you are disappointed. Because you are looking for what you are looking for, right? This is why you have to somehow tell that God, Mr. God, or Mrs. God, or Miss God, I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Mr. God, I want this house. Suddenly don't make that house to appear, buddy. This is why even in writings of Baha'u'llah, Tablet of Ahmad. Have you read Tablet of Ahmad? Whosoever read this tablet with absolute sincerity, Baha'u'llah gives him whatever he wants, right? Have you ever tried that tablet? Bob, very more concrete. Don't wish things. And do not insist because you get it, you will be sorry for it. Abdul Baha. There are many times you wish many things and then 10 years down the road you say, I'm so happy God was busy or deaf. Because he would have listened to it and he would have given it to me. It was a disaster. So, what does Baha'u'llah really mean? Whosoever reads this tablet with absolute sincerity, he doesn't even say sincerity. He says, take sincerity and give it to the mathematician to find the absolute value of sincerity. Ask yourself, how can you be sincere but you have a desire? With absolute sincerity, give me that house. Is this what he's saying? I'm just asking you to just not read Ahmad, Tablet of Ahmad. Whenever you think you fail, call Ahmad. You can call Ahmad by your deeds. I do my best. See how some people took that phrase. Which that phrase, by the way, does not only belong to the Baha'i faith. Every religious system believes if you ask sincerely from the center of the universe, what is in your best interest shall be given to you. What is in your best interest, not what you ask. Because sometimes your wishes, your desires is because of your immaturity. Does your kid ask you everything, you give it to him? If you give it to him, you can be called abuser. You can be a molester. Not everything that they are asking you give. No, I want to make the point. What is sincere? Abdul Baha. Any desire that transcends self and benefits majority of humankind, that is closer to sincerity. Oh God, help me to be a better servant to my fellow human being. That is called spiritual prayer. Anything which is centered about self just takes me away from the true self. Now I want to summarize it and conclusion. All of us have a lower self and a higher self. All of us. The person who says he doesn't is in a dense denial. Although he may be a priest, although he may be a philosopher, although he may be the son of manifestation of God. is in dense denial. We are the combination of negative forces and positive forces, opposites. Krishna, Socrates, Baha'u'llah, Kant. See, these are the giants of history that I mentioned. Humankind is facing with opposites. Individual faces opposites. I have an inclination to be good, at the same time I have an inclination to be bad. What is bad? Very simple. Bad is that which only concerns my lower self. Good is that which concerns the real, true, universal self. Now, that fight that Krishna was talking about, Gandhi, giant. He says that is a fight that you day-to-day operation in your life. You have to recognize this battle. Why do I study? Why am I having a wife? Why I buy a house? The answer to those questions can be the result of the fight of these three forces. Wow. Why do I have a religion? Well, I want to have a religion because I'm lonely. I want to go to Rahmat's home on Saturday night. Where am I supposed to go? Free cookies and candies, good company, good chair to sleep on. That is one set of answers. Another set of answers is an opportunity for discussion, opportunity to see who am I, opportunity to see who is Baha'u'llah, who is Krishna. Am I here to become a follower of somebody else, whether it is Jesus, Moses, or am I here to reflect in my capacity the light that Baha'u'llah shined? Depending on how do you answer it, you have two different lifestyles. If you say, I am here to just bow down, go down, I'm a zombie guy. Or I quote again my dear friend Albert Einstein, my mentor in science. He says there are three types of people in the world. Some people are like a bee. You know what this bee does? Whiz, talk, whiz. He says some people are like an ant. They just work. Khuda quvvat. They work. Some people are like a parrot. They just repeat. He says the world needs the people who are initiators, reflectors, translators. We now find out in psychology and religion, the more you have self-confidence, the more you have a good, positive self-image, the more you are, relatively speaking, walking in the path of perfection, but you do not consider yourself to be perfect, the more humble you become. The more you consider yourself as a member of a human family, nay, the member of the universe, with that dog, with that animal, with that vegetable, the more unified you feel, the humbler you become, and you see God in everything, and you consider God, any of them. I end with this very famous statement by Abraham Maslow. Read that book. Religion values, and a peak experience. You need to read these books, especially I don't know what religious group are you coming from, but it is good to widen your horizon. Otherwise you become fundamentalist. You become absolutist. You can read these books, but do not feel that you have to be a follower. Try to understand them. Try to internalize them. Whether you read Bible, do not think you have to be a follower. Bible has come that for me to internalize it. Now, he says, Maslow, there is only 1% or less than 1% of humanity that actually experiences what he calls peak experience. Do you know what is peak experience, my super best friend? To see attributes of God in you and in everything else, and you see with the eye of God, and you see unity with everything, and you are not follower of anything, because you are a temple of unity. Wow! Less than 1%. Maslow, from psychological standpoint of view, he says the people such as Jesus, the people, for instance, such as Baha'u'llah, the people such as Socrates, the people such as Gandhi, actually reached that peak experience. Even in a human level. Forget about devastation. We are not comparing stations. I am not here to promote any religious doctrine. We are examining truths. Truth is our religion. We are the follower of truth, and truth is objective, it's not subjective. This is why. Why do I now? See, this is the last portion. Pay attention to this, see if it makes sense. The reason that I come after, say, religion, according to Maslow, according to Einstein, according to Kant, is for me to increase the quest for unity in the world while I eliminate duality within my own self. You understand that? Because the unity of me then leads to the unity of my family, then leads to the unity of tribe, unity of nation, unity of the world. What a good thing. But now, think about it. You have the unity of family, but the member is full of contradiction. We are all big, happy family. Young, no. You are a set of zeros combined together. If you put million zeros one after together, how many bonds do you get, sir? Zero. You get million zeros. Zero plus zero, how much money do you have? Zero. In how many banks do you have? I have every bank of the universe. I have $0 in it. Young. He says, don't think creating a superstructure in society, churches, gatherings will give you anything at the end of the day. Concentrate on building a healthy, unified individuals. If a religion has 10 believers, but they are experiencing what that religion says, is better than having million followers who believe in him. Do you understand where am I going? This is why Shoghi Effendi, he says, not the big buildings, not so many conversions. He says, none of these things really help anything. The degree in which these high ideals will be translated by the individual in this personal life. Is that what it counts victory? This is why I ended. What I started with Krishna, I ended with Baha'u'llah. Krishna, fight! Means fight with your lower self. Fight with ignorance. Fight with prejudice. Fight with materialism. And Baha'u'llah ends it. Gain victory over thine own self. This is the same thing after 5,000 years. Last but not the least, I always wanted to see what can I find that really helps me with that fight. Have you heard about holy war? Do you believe in holy war, man? Say, oh, no way. Krishna says you cannot even be alive if you don't believe in holy war. What is holy war? A war of good with evil. Because what is a holy war? How can a war be holy? Can you ever think? You never see Baha'u'llah. Engage in holy war. Jesus, Matthew. Don't think I have come to bring peace. I have come to bring sword. Oh my God, I thought Jesus says, somebody hit you here, you say, please, come and abuse me. Hit one more here. Is this what Jesus says? I have come to bring sword. And then look at how he ends it. I have come to separate mother from the daughter, sister. Oh my God. Is this what really your Jesus is? Your Jesus is a happy Jesus. Give me candy, give me honey. Now look at that. Look at it. Matthew, read it. Krishna, engage in that war. The degree that you fail to engage in that holy war, that period that you actually deprive yourself of that holy war, you will be in ignorance, you will be in disunity, and you will be in disarray. Now see. Jesus war. Muhammad says, hey, my friends, he tells his believers. He says, remember, before his death, this is what he says. He says, by now, my followers, you have fought the people who were against Islam. He says, we call that lesser war. Now, from now on, please engage in a real war. What is that, Muhammad? He says, engage with the war with thine own self. We call it in Arabic, Jihad Akbar. Baha'is, don't tell anybody. Baha'is have a terminology, double crusade. Not one, get one free. What is double crusade? The first crusade is a crusade with my own self. The second crusade, when I fight with my own self, I actually become a teacher for the rest of the world. So my life becomes an example to fight the evil side. Wow! So everybody likes holy war, right? Why then Jesus has come to bring sword? What is sword, for God's sake? I thought he came to bring candy. No. Jesus.
That's the divine truth from him.
Divine truth. This is why. Look at it. Read religion, understand. Religion have not come to put us to a sleep or a coma. Has come to awaken us. That we can think better, we can feel better, we can act better. Religion has not come that we ignore reality. Religion has come that we face reality, right? Now what is that sword, Baha'u'llah? It's a sword of truth. Truth divides people. Illusion can unify people. We all believe Earth is the center. Do you believe that, sir? Yes, sir, sure. Everybody believes. Mr. Galileo's sword was in the beginning very weak. Do you remember? You were there. They took him to the church, and what did he say? The representative of God said, "Hey, buddy, what are you talking about when the Bible says it?" And then what did Galileo say? He said, "You are right. Hey, but Mr. Earth, Mrs. Earth, you know what's going on." But sure, whatever you say. Truth is what divides people. How the truth can unify us? When the mass movement is based on truth. This is where religion becomes a means of unity. So, holy war, how do I do it? Abdul Baha'u'llah has revealed the work which universally is famous as hidden words. Have you seen this? Or it is hidden? Have you find it? Hidden words is a very, but do you know, I as a therapist use it a lot. This is a sword for holy war. Backbiting is very good. Have you backbited someone? You know, you take the person, you bite from the back, right? Backbiting, fault finding, lying, cheating. If a person has 10 good quality, one bad, spend half an hour on that one bad, and then do not even mention the good 10. Versus whatever you see, you consider them the representative of one of the attributes of God. Isn't that a holy war? Isn't that a holy war? It is easy always to see, do you know, that look at this is a very old thing. But this, I bought $5, this 2 cents. Why do you look at this only? Look at this also. Holy war simply means fight with that lower self. That you never keep tangent from what is real, what is truth. In this book, he starts with the fact that holy war is when you think low of yourself. When you think you are dependent. He says, you are the image of God. I have created you rich. I have created you noble. I have created you noble. Why do you bring thyself to abasement? What is abasement? When I lie, don't you think I'm abased? When I cheat, don't you think I'm abased? When I actually, my pride is how much money I make, don't you think I'm abased? Because my glory is something external again. My house. Have you seen when you look at a person drives in Mercedes? You say, wow. If you see myself, I drive a donkey. You say, well, what is this? How do you maintain humility? Is humility, see, I'm giving you an example and read this book. Humility is not having anything or to have everything, but never lose sight of its goal. Detachment. You look like a detached guy. That detachment means poor. The less money you have, you are more detached. Nobody in psychology, they say less money you have, you are not able to do many things. If you have less money, you are limited. Money means potentiality to do certain things. Isn't that right? Have you ever gone to a Starbucks? Short coffee, please. Okay. How much? $1.75 in my city. Oh, excuse me, I am a detached guy. This is why I have $1.10. What does the Starbucks tell you? Oh, we have been yearning for detached people. What does it say? Maybe the first time it says, okay, I give you 1/4 of a cup. Second time, if there is such a practice, please don't walk in. Detachment doesn't mean not having money. Detachment doesn't mean not having position. Detachment doesn't mean doesn't have material sustenance. Detachment means never get attached to them. Detachment means your car is not the glory. The car is a means for you to serve another fellow human being. This is called the holy war. Unless I am willing to engage in this holy war, I become overrun by materialism, capitalism, communism, you name it. Make sense? Thank you very much. If you have questions, raise them, please. Don't tell me you have no questions.
Okay. Well, I believe that the greater jihad is against the self. Baha'u'llah, I think he says it in the Akdas, but he has the glad tidings. I don't dare try to say it in force. And he's, I think, among the first of them, he says, "I've done away with holy war from the books."
Bisharata,
yeah. And
that is the first holy.
Is the language that he uses, is that slight? Is there a difference in there so that a person is able to distinguish?
Sure. The holy war that he is eliminating is the war with others. Holy war, jihad, that he is eliminating is fighting with others, competing with others. Holy war that he is initiating is fighting with your lower self. So to make it more practical, holy war that is praised is the effort to become free from the prison of self. Holy war that is eliminating anything that creates I versus you. In fact, if you read Peter Russell, Global Brain, the first one that we fight others is because we feel it is I which is important, materialism. My religion versus your religion. So anybody who doesn't believe in my religion has to be eliminated. You got it? Second one is fight any tendencies that keeps you away from universal self. This is why that passage in Matthew, with that passage in Quran, with that passage in the works such as hidden works, synchronize. We are here to fight. Fight with who? Not with him, not with her, with me. We call it, in a better language, is what Abraham Maslow said, transformation. Means from a lower form to the higher form. I am always trying to become better. This is why being a Bahá'í doesn't mean I'm a Bahá'í. The moment you say you are a Bahá'í, you go down. The moment you say, I'm trying to become a Bahá'í, and then they say, what is it becoming a Bahá'í mean? Did you sign the card? Yes, but I'm more miserable than when I didn't sign the card. Eh? What type of card was that? That is a very superficial card. When I signed the card, you may not see the small print over there. What do you say in a small print? Have you signed it or you got it from your daddy? Small prince says, I testify to the reality of Bab and Baha'u'llah. You think it's an external concept. You think that they just were dying for you to testify to their truth. They had nothing better to do. They were crying day and night that he shows up and signed their cards. Somebody else reads it. Hey, the reason that I even signed a card because I'm engaged in a covenant which is called transformation. Because if I don't believe in that covenant, I would not believe in any other covenant. Transformation. I have come to become a better human being. That is a covenant. I have come to become a nobler human being. And then I use Bab and Baha'u'llah as an archetype for transformation. How? I'm not going to worship this picture. This is just a picture, right? Abdul Wahab for me is not that old man, is he? That old man doesn't exist anymore. This picture is outdated, isn't it? Be truthful. But Abdul Wahab is his writings. So when I signed that, I believe in Baha'u'llah. Whether you know it or not. And if you are drunk when you sign that card, you think twice.
More than that, actually.
You
I
actually...
had a lot of trouble with that card.
Exactly. So what you do is, you actually, in the 21st century, you actually say, what is my goal in life as a human? Whether Bab and Baha'u'llah help me to reach my own sanity and unity of humankind. When you sign it, you also say something else. Let your tomorrow be better than today, and your today better than yesterday. You do not walk into the Bahá'í faith to become perfect. Because then, after that thought, you go to psychologists and psychiatrists. So then you have to sign that card, psychotherapy card. You actually become a Bahá'í to say, I am a human. I make a mistake. I shall make a mistake again. But I try to use Baha'u'llah to reduce my errors, to become a better human being, to engage in that holy war. By trusting someone who is not someone else. He is the mouthpiece of that reality which is impersonal. You see, what am I trying to show is that everything that we do is linked to that transformation. If I am not transformed, I cannot teach because it becomes propaganda. You go door to door, I'm a Baha'i, I'm a Baha'i. They say, oh really? How many people you are? He says, we have 6 million, many million. He says, okay, show me how do you live. What do you do for a living? What is your relationship with your wife? How do you deal with your kid? How do you deal with... At the end of the day, is a degree of transformation. Because why should I, as your neighbor, change my affiliation from one religion to another religion if it is simply an affiliation and not transformation? Do you see that? So this is why right now, 21st century, is harder to people to become converters. Because the people now think about transforming effect, not simply joining effect. Very good. What else?
I have a question. About unity, you mentioned the reality of things, the way things are, and the truth of the things. The difference between the two is what is the result of this unity. Is it correct?
Yes. You see, I tell you an example that links to the earlier question that somebody asked me. See, assume I'm a Christian. I look like a Christian. I love Jesus. Now I want to become, say, Bahá'í or Hare Krishna. Do you want to tell me I have to leave Jesus in order to become Baha'i? See, I'm answering two questions. Get one free. It all depends on how do you understand this concept. Is there really, don't tell anybody, is there really a difference between Krishna, Moses, Jesus, Bob, Baha'u'llah? If you say yes, you are in a materialistic world. Oh my God. Or a capitalistic world. Why is that, sir? Tell me, is Jesus better than Moses? Or Muhammad is better than Jesus? You tell me. The people fight. The people kill because of that. Now, look at it. If you consider that reality is universal and Moses, Jesus, Krishna, Baha'u'llah are actually the different mirrors reflecting the same reality, then do you actually, when you believe in Jesus, do you leave Moses? Of course not. You actually see Moses in a greater intensity called Jesus. This is why John chapter 5 verse 32. If you would have known Moses, you would have known me. What is he doing actually? He says the problem that you have with me is because you never knew Moses. What do you mean I don't know Moses? I'm a rabbi. Yeah, you are a rabbi, but you do not know Moses. Why? Because you are dealing with a virtual external reality called Moses. You never understood the reality, which is objective, universal truth of Moses. This is why. Muhammad. I am Moses, I am Jesus, I am Adam. Really? How? You are an Arab guy. He was an Israeli guy. Moses was a chubby. Jesus didn't have a daddy. If you go into those realms, you are a materialistic again. See, I'm trying to show you. Materialism doesn't mean only money. Materialism means thoughts that are subject to limitation and division. We can be, our ideology can become the source of materialism. Can you ever think that just take this message and go out? The way you think about the world can be materialistic. Does really Moses and Jesus and Muhammad and Bob and Baha'u'llah are different? Krishna answers it. The rest of them repeat. He says, I am one sun which has no beginning nor end. Although I repeat myself, but there is only one sun. He says, and then Arjuna, the believer, says, why do you come back again? He says, because the people start to become demoralized. They become attached to my body. They become attached to the custom. They become attached to the idols. So I come and ring the bell again. This is what we call it, progressive revelation. If you are a Darwin, this is called natural evolution. See? So the answer is, of course, truth. If you just look at truth, you will see the unity of God in everything. This is why, Baha'u'llah, if somebody accepts me, he has accepted all the manifestations of the past. If somebody rejects me, he has rejected all the manifestation of the past. What does that mean? It depends how the Baha'i reads it. If the Baha'i reads it, I told you, Muslims no good, Jews no good, Christian no good, nobody any good, only 7 million good. If you think like that, you are the biggest materialistic of all wolves. But if you now go to the higher level, Paul says, you know what? When he says, whosoever accepts me is not that little me, which is a lower self, which is a Mirza Hussain Ali. It is a capital M, which is a universal. He's talking about the reality. He says, whosoever accepts me recognizes that my reality is exactly the same as reality of Jesus. Return. Have you heard about return of Christ? Do you actually expect Mr. Christ to show up exactly the same way he was there? Poor guy, he was the Son of God. How is he going to come back? Why Muhammad says, I'm the return of Moses, Jesus. Who was the return of Jesus? Baha'u'llah, Muhammad. Who was the return of Muhammad? Bob. Now, if Bob is the return of Muhammad, he is not return of Jesus. Of course, if the Son of Reality is one, why can he be return of him but not return of him? See, I'm trying to show you. The more materialistic vision you have, it impacts your theological understanding. This is why you look at this manifestation like a dolls. My doll versus your doll. While truth is neither Krishna as a person, nor Moses as a person, nor Jesus as a person, nor Muhammad as a person, nor Ali Muhammad the Bab as a person. They are the dawning place of a reality which is higher than them. The people who look at the reality that they are manifesting, they see unity. That is reality. The people who get attached to their bodies, to their customs only, and they forget that the purpose of every manifestation, including Baha'u'llah, is to prepare humankind for the next stage. Moses came in order to fulfill the past, start a new phase for the future. I have so many things to tell you. Didn't he say that? So, Baha'u'llah, in this book, don't think what I have said is according to my capacity, is according to your capacity. The same thing. So, the answer to your question is, we have to fight again, say again, holy war, between the pseudo-reality that we perceive and the actual reality that exists. Actual reality binds everybody. Actual reality doesn't have Chinese, Korean, Persian, Spanish. Pseudo-reality concentrates on the shadows rather than on the light. Light is the reality. Shadow is the absence of that light. Make sense?